Hello friends, I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. So today is Wisdom Wednesdays. And there's been something that's been on my mind recently that I think would be so beneficial to so many people if we just kind of consciously started to think about it, realize it, and act upon it. And that is the concept of programming your own mind in a good way. So we know, or we have been discovering, that the dark side has been using TV, radio, music, art, pretty much anything with a wavelength of frequency to program us, to move us towards the direction that they want us to go for their own benefit. So we know these things, and we're starting to understand more and more these things with things like subliminal messaging, seeing advertisements on the TVs constantly, and them only being a few seconds long, them putting, weird imagery in movies to program our minds in a certain direction, etc., etc. The list goes on and on. And one thing I don't think people realize is that if they can do this to us without us actually knowing what they're doing, then why can't we do it to ourselves in a purposeful, powerful, and productive way? The 3 Ps, if you will. So this is something that I have been doing for quite a while, and I don't do it all the time, but I definitely, go with the flow with it, because that's my thing apparently. But basically, a way that I program my mind and my subconscious is by listening to things that I don't understand. Or not even really listening to them, but having headphones in all day long and listening to teachers, spiritual teachers that are much further advanced than I am, and that know and have understanding and revelation about things that I currently don't have. And I've found that over the past few years of doing this, what it's done for me is opened my subconscious mind to talk to me in those moments of meditation or quiet times, really just quiet times. Quite honestly, to make it not sound as woo and dramatic, my meditation time is when I put my child to sleep and I am just laying in the dark in my bed with my child wrapped around my arm, in those moments where I'm not singing to him and I'm just listening to the sound machine, and I'll just let myself think. And what's absolutely amazing is that the thoughts that I will start thinking will be things that I was like, I didn't know I thought that. I didn't know that I knew that. And I realized that it's not exactly that I knew it, but it's concepts that I essentially traded my time into by subconsciously listening to it. So like a few years ago when I started to do this, I was listening to a specific teacher. His name was Ian Clayton, and I really wanted to learn and understand and be on the same wavelength that he was. And so I would get his teachings, get as many as I possibly could, put them on my phone, put in headphones everywhere I went that I knew I wouldn't be talking to anyone or interacting with anyone. Like if I went to the grocery store, had to run errands or whatever, or clean the house, I would just put in the headphones and listen for hours. And a lot of times I wouldn't even be listening. I would completely zone out, but it was still going into my body. It was still going into my physical body. The frequency was still going into me just from listening, not really listening to his teachings. And now, years down the road, I find myself understanding so much of what he was actually teaching. Because there is a powerful thing that happens when you get a frequency inside your body. We know this affects us in a bad way. 5 and then the letter G. But we also can use this in a good way, in a powerful way, to absolutely change and transform our lives. I'm a pretty intense person when it comes to learning things. Like, I just want to learn everything right now, and I just want it all right now. That's not very realistic. I'm very much starting to understand and accept the journey of it all. But at that time, I was like, if I can just continue to pump this inside of me, then eventually I know that I'll get it. And that's exactly what happens. It's almost as if, like, when I have those quiet times now, those things that I subconsciously was listening to, not paying any attention to, are the things that are actually revealed to me. They like set inside me for a few years, and then now that I'm ready to understand them, they're actually coming up, and I am way more aware of the things that I had no clue about 3 to 5 years ago. So I just think it's an insanely powerful tool that not many people use. I mean, that is why it is so incredibly important to be very aware of what you are putting into your body frequency-wise, whether that's what you're watching, what you're listening to, what you're eating, the lotions you use, whatever you're putting on your body. Everything is a frequency. Everything holds a frequency. Everything holds a energetic charge. And if you're not aware of that, then you are being programmed, whether you want to be or not. Most of us are, and I mean, even to this day, I'm sure there's things that I still do to this day that are programming me in a certain direction. But I try to combat it as much as I can with the positive things, with the things that I actually want to know about, and with the things that actually would better me in the future. So remember, you are absolutely powerful. And one of the ways that you can take your power back is by programming this physical body in the direction that you actually want to go. A lot of people don't like listening to people that they don't understand, that they don't resonate with or can logically connect to, but there's so much power in it. If you're an extremely logical person and you want to understand more things of the spiritual realm, more metaphysical type of things, it would do you a great service to listen to spiritual teachers that have no solid evidence in what they say. It's all woo, essentially. And you don't even really have to listen to it, but just let it go into your subconscious mind, and then you'll start to open up towards those things. It's the, this can, like I've said before, but this can happen in, negative ways also. It's like once you open up the part of you into like violence and stuff like that in movies, like violence and gore, you start to see it in other movies and it's not as big of a deal. You start to see it in other movies and it's not as big of a deal. And then you're watching slasher movies and you're like, wait, I used to not be able to handle these. You get desensitized to it. You get programmed in that way. And, that for me is extremely detrimental. And exactly what the dark agendas have always wanted for us is the desensitization and the disconnection from spirit. So, start programming yourself in different ways. Start listening to things watching things that you absolutely do not understand, that absolutely hurt your brain to think about and blow your mind. Because eventually you'll get to that point where you blow your own mind and you're like, where the heck did this come from? You'll get in the flow. I gotta be honest with you guys, like something has happened to me recently and I am in the absolute flow. And I think it is because I am honoring the flow. How many times can I say the flow? But I am starting to see things open up spiritually a whole lot more for me. Opportunities in places that I never would have expected. I see hawks flying over me every single time I go outside, or even when I drive in my car, and never seen them before. Never. My dreams have been super intense. I just see things in the spirit realm without even really trying to engage. I have lots of animals and birds, like I said, hawks and insects around me at all times. And I honestly feel like it is because I have stepped into this place of honoring when I'm supposed to do something or when I'm not. It's like I said in my last update video that I might be following that format and I might not be. Yesterday I was extremely dizzy and ended up taking a nap with my son, because when I record these videos, my son is napping, which is why he doesn't bother me in these videos. And I was just like, you know what? I need to sleep. I need a rest today. I don't need to push myself to do this stuff. Even though I totally was going to talk about this shirt, but I'll do it another day. But yeah, so there is absolute beauty and a honoring in the universe, the kingdom, whatever you want to call it, when you honor the flow. Because also, like I said, another thing, spiritual thing that's been kind of happening is that when I am sitting there laying there trying to put my son to sleep, I have these thoughts that just go through me. Have you ever had those thoughts where you literally say, oh shit, like that's gonna change everything that I believe? Like, I've been having those thoughts lately that are very controversial to what I currently believe about certain things. So, yeah, the flow is fun and a little terrifying sometimes. But once you jump in that river, the current just takes you and there's no real stopping it. So, be in the flow. Anyways, I hope you guys have a fantastic day. All the links of the things are in the description. My Etsy shop, Heavy Metal Detox. What's the other one? Buy Me a Coffee. Social medias, all down there. You can find me in multiple places. So, yeah, have a fantastic day. Bye.